Another month has passed, and I guess it's time to do the November acquisitions. I'm going to pretty well do a quick run through, just a flip sort of thing. Yeah, I've been poking around many videos. I do watch a lot of them, but I do watch on a Xbox or NVIDIA Shield TV onto my widescreen TV. These guys allow me to watch through them, skip all the commercials and advertisements, and only let me click like on videos I like or dislike. They don't allow me to do commenting, which is why I'm not really active in the comment sections anywhere. But I just watched a Tim Allen video, and he sort of had the idea that he's pretty well going to be ending doing his regular updates of albums he's been buying, and it does get pretty boring. And I'm not sure, but I think I sort of agree with him. Might look for a different way, something else to do videos about than just all the albums I've been picking up. Although you never know. I've already got another stack of, well, it looks like it's about 20 albums over sitting on the table from December already. Let's see how it goes and what other videos I decide to make. Anyway, here's the list of this month's videos. Seem to be picking up about a disc a day. Let's start this one off. The oldest album, again they're in chronological order of when they were created, is a Benny Goodman in Brussels. This is a jazz 1958 album that was made in the Netherlands. And I picked up a Billy Vaughn, Blue Hawaii. It's a jazz album from '59. Sonny Rollins and the Big Brass. It's another jazz album from the '60s. It's a German pressing. I've got a Leonard Bernstein's West Side Story. Sorry, I've got to look to the side where I've got my notes. West Side Story, it's a musical from '61. This is almost a pressing I've been searching for. It is a gatefold album. And, well, there's one older, much better quality pressing that I have been hunting down. It's a Columbia label, 360 Sound. Joseph Cripps, Brahms Variations on a Theme. Sometimes I have trouble reading my own notes. That one was a classical album from 1963. It's a mono. It was recorded in the UK and manufactured in Canada. Then we came up with I don't even know who this fellow is, a Pierre Montroux. It's a Beethoven Symphonies No. 3 in E flat, also known as the Erotica. It's a classical album from 1963. And I picked up a Nancy Sinatra album. This is Sugar, it's Easy Listening from 1966. It's a mono pressing. I'm hoping that those reflections aren't too bad. I'm just noticing that the way the light's hitting me, it's I may have to move the light. Hold on a second. Hopefully that takes out some of the reflections. Next, I managed to get hold of Monkeys, the More of the Monkeys. This is a mono pressing from 1967. And Burl Ives, The 12 Days of Christmas. And this one is, if I can follow my fingers over, folk album from 1967. Perry Como, Home for the Holidays. It's a pop album from 1968. And surprisingly, it's still in the shrink wrap. You don't find those very often. It's an RCA label. And here's one I always try to find if I can get hold of copies of her records. It's a Buffy St. Marie. This is the quadraphonic album called Moonshots. This one is a Psych album from '72, and as I said, it's a U.S. pressing, a quadraphonic on the Vanguard label. Now the next albums I'm not even going to try to pronounce. They're German Gregorian chants. Oops, really nice, nice little booklet inside, except I can't read it. That one is from, okay, 1973. It's classed as a medieval German pressing. It's followed by another one. Also has a nice little booklet inside of Gregorian chants. This one is from 1974 German medieval pressing. A rather bad cover of a Seals and Crofts Unborn Child. It's a Pop 74 album. Like I said, the album jacket is absolutely destroyed. But the record itself is in very good condition. So I'm going to try to repair that jacket if I can pull that off. And then I got hold of a James Taylor. This is the Gorilla album. It is a folk album from 1975. Wonder who. Oh, it's got a paper inner sleeve. I'm gonna have to replace that. I got it. Christy Berg, Spanish Train and Other Stories, a rock album from 1975. And yet another Melanie album. I have a huge collection of her albums now. This one's Sunset and Other Beginnings. And this one, comments say, is a folk album, 1975, and it is a UK pressing. And after Melanie, I got a Styx album. Yeah, I got quite a few Styx albums now too. This was called Crystal Ball. It's labeled as a 1976 rock album. I gotta find a different place to put my notes. I gotta keep bending my head over to see what I've written. And then I got hold of an Alan Parsons project, Tales of Mystery and Imagination, a 1978 rock album. This one was another gatefold. Oh, and it's on the 20th Century label. And then comes another German Gregorian chant album. This one was, 1978, same as the other ones, a nice little booklet inside, but totally illegible to me at this point. Now this album has a bit of a story behind it. I picked it up mostly because I really wanted the album cover. I had no idea who the band was. It's Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster. It's a rock album from 1979, and the clerk in the store was searching it over. They said that they're wanting to start pricing their albums individually now. This is a thrift shop. It's on the Epic label. But I was almost flinching when I saw her touching it and moving it around, not because the album itself was totally covered in black mold. I wasn't, I was going to initially throw the record out and try to just sanitize the picture and hang it on the wall, but it actually ended up cleaning up pretty good. That surprised me a bit. But when you want to individually carefully price albums that are covered in mold, you sort of wonder what's going on. And then moving along, I picked up an album by War, the music band live. Still got the hype stickers and the shrink. This one is from, excuse me, is it a jazz album? No, it can't be. Hold on. Okay, I've got it written down as a jazz album from 1978, a US pressing. I really didn't expect that. Oh yeah, it's got the old inner sleeve there with all the photos and stuff on it. Sometimes you come across some interesting things hunting through the thrift shops. Oh, we're getting pretty well through the list. Next I got I picked up an album by the Four Tops. It's called Tonight. It's a soul album from 1981. Then I picked up the Eddie Newwood album called The Biggest Little Band of the 40s, a jazz album 1981, US mono pressing. and Robert Plant, The Principles of the Moment. Again, the cover needs a good cleaning, but the record itself also needs a good cleaning, but it's not scratched, it's just dirty. It's on a, I don't recognize the label. I guess it's a custom. And another surprise when I was digging through a Value Village by some of my relatives, there's some people ahead of me digging through their bins, and they were passing by all these albums. They ended up walking off with a rather bad-looking Hair album and some other ones, and they left these ones just sitting there. I guess not all people like classical and jazz albums, but they left a very clean Yo-Yo Ma Hello Suites just sitting there. I grabbed it without thinking twice about think about it. It's on a purple. Well, I haven't actually seen a purple. I'm losing my mouth here. Seen a purple label. It's a CBS Records Masterworks. Oh, it's got a. If I turn it around, it's got a nice little logo on the sleeve and almost pristine-looking album. And right behind it was a Crowd Bowling album. It's also in very good looking shape. The Crowd Bowling is called Suite for Chamber Orchestra and Jazz Piano. It's actually a jazz album from 1983. And it's even in a very nice sleeve too. It's another CBS pressing. Then I got down to the Purcell String Quartet, the self-titled album. It's a classical from 1984. And this was a total digital process album, digital recording, And then we come to some rather unusual finds. For 99 cents at a mission store, I got hold of a Lee Aaron picture disc. This one is the Barely Holding On. It was pressed in the Netherlands in 1985. Not really much like a picture disc. It's probably going to go into a frame and just stuck up on the wall along with my one other picture disc, which is a Rod Stewart one. And then for a last album, I picked up a Billy Idol, Vital Idol. This is a pop album from 1987. The album's been wet, but the record itself looks pretty good. And it is in a plastic sleeve too, so that saved it, I guess. And for the month of November, I guess that's about it. So long, bye-bye, and see you around on that tube thing.